So maybe just as a starting point, I just wanted to give you a little bit about Aiven for those of you that aren't that don't know us. Aiven's a team of open source and cloud experts, originally founded out of Helsinki, Finland. We've now got over 500 employees, over 1,000 customers globally, and we're as a privately held company, or a pre-IPO company, recently valued at $3 billion. And what do? We provide we provide an open source data platform covering streaming, storing, and analysis of data. So from Kafka through to Postgres, MySQL, wide column store databases, through to obviously OpenSearch, which is what we're here to talk about today. And we run those services on a range of platforms, including, of course, Google Cloud. We make it very easy to move between move your data services between clouds, between regions. So make it very easy for you to bring services onto GCP as well. So what are we going to cover today? What we wanted to do was just start with an overview of OpenSearch and some of the use cases that OpenSearch can be applied to. We'll talk a bit about Aiven and why running OpenSearch, Aiven for OpenSearch, will make it easier for you to manage and deploy OpenSearch in GCP, and let you focus on business value rather than managing the solution. We're going to give you a bit of a demonstration and then talk briefly about how Aiven and GCP work together. So, as we said, today's focus is OpenSearch. So let's get into it. So what is OpenSearch? OpenSearch is a fully open source search solution derived from Elasticsearch. So back in 21, Elasticsearch changed their licensing so that other vendors couldn't host cloud-based solutions, and so AWS created a fork, and that fork is open sourced under the Apache license, and is supported by a wide range of organizations or partners to the OpenSearch group, including Aiven. And so our OpenSearch, our open source project office has a team that actively contributes and commits to the OpenSearch project. In fact, we used to host Elastic, and we've migrated all of our customers over to OpenSearch back in August last year. So we're able to help with customers that are looking to move from existing either Elasticsearch solutions, or where you're not using search today, as well as customers who are using OpenSearch and just want an easier way to manage it. So what is Aiven for OpenSearch? So we basically provide plans from startup sizes through to really large enterprise deployments. We give you the ability to deploy in multiple clouds and multiple regions. We automate the backup, recovery, migration, maintenance. And so basically what we're providing is a very easy to operate, easy to run environment that lets you focus on your business solutions rather than focusing on how do I operate a reliable OpenSearch cluster in a production environment. And I'll give you a demonstration of how easy that is later. So some of the use cases for OpenSearch. Firstly, the most obvious one is text search and dashboarding. So with OpenSearch, you can feed business data as documents into OpenSearch and then surface those as through your application, but also surface that information through dashboards. So a common use for this would be adding filtering and search functionality into your business applications. It's one that I've used OpenSearch and the underlying Lucene engine on which it's based for about the last 16, 17 years, give or take. So in a business, in an enterprise environment, this doesn't necessarily mean writing your data directly into OpenSearch. What you can do is set up a data pipeline. This is an example from one of our customers where they keep their product database in Postgres and then use Kafka to stream changes to that data to OpenSearch and to other applications. And so what that gives them is very high-speed product searching and filtering using OpenSearch without them having to have their admin app manage each component. So you get a very well-decoupled architecture that allows the team building the online store app to surface information really easily to their customer base. So probably the most common use of OpenSearch though, is log management. So OpenSearch is a fantastic addition to your observability stack. It makes it very easy to feed logging from your various applications into OpenSearch and then to search, filter, and aggregate that information. And in fact, we use it quite heavily internally at Aiven for exactly that purpose. There's also a wide range of plugins available. We provide over 20 curated plugins as part of an Aiven OpenSearch deployment. And so you also have the ability to do things like trace analytics and anomaly detection. So in this case, we have support for Jaeger and OpenTelemetry. And so the latter, OpenTelemetry, is a growing industry standard. And so this allows you to get not just logging and basic metrics, but also OpenTelemetry allows you to instrument code and feed that into OpenSearch for analytics and detecting. When we say anomaly detection, what we're talking about is the identifying unusual behavior automatically and alerting you of changes in behavior, anomalies. I should also apologize for my voice today. I've come down with something, so apologies if I'm sounding a bit croaky. So those are, I guess, a few examples of what you can do with OpenSearch. But why Aiven for OpenSearch? So these are a few of our customers who use Aiven for OpenSearch quite extensively. So Adeo is a large retail chain in Europe, and they moved their entire data platform from on-prem to a fully managed cloud-based Aiven environment within 3 months. Today, they run hundreds of services on Aiven, including Postgres, OpenSearch, and others across their headquarters and business units and stores. Conrad Electronic didn't have the in-house expertise to continue to manage their on-prem data platform. They were originally planning a 6 to 9 month upgrade project, but they onboarded with Aiven and completed their upgrades within a month. And they've adopted OpenSearch as part of their observability stack for log and metrics management for their Kafka and PostgreSQL clusters. Miracle is an interesting one. They have more than provide the back end for more than 300 online marketplaces, and they basically sell to B2C and B2B businesses that build their own products and third-party inventory. Now, when we first met Miracle back in 2016, they had a monolithic solution that required them to deploy a monolith for each of their new customers, and they wanted to move to a cloud-native microservice architecture. Now, with Aiven, they reduced their operating expenses by 70%, and OpenSearch is a key component of that B2C online marketplace platform, using some of the patterns that we described earlier. And I mentioned Aiven. So we are a big believer in OpenSearch, not just as a product for our customers, but as a key component of our own observability stack. So our systems generate huge amounts of data. We've got tens of thousands of nodes running, and we collect thousands of metrics for each node. So at any one time, we get about 40 million unique metric data points, and most of them about twice a minute. So we generate about 1 terabyte of data a week. So we've got hundreds of alert rules, really high throughput, and a requirement for a highly scalable environment to keep up with our own growth. So to do that, we use a combination of M3 as our metrics engine, our backend time series database. We use Grafana internally for dashboarding and alerting for all of the services that we run. Our site reliability engineers use OpenSearch extensively for log management and OpenSearch dashboards, which I'll demo shortly, to allow them to handle the process and resolve issues across that massive install base. And all of these fed using Telegraph and Logstash to feed from every node of every cluster that we run. If you're interested in that, we do have actually a case study for ourselves on the website. It's probably worth checking out. So this is a product that we OpenSearch is something that we use extensively and know how important it is to our business and know how useful it can be to yours. So back to why Aiven for OpenSearch? Firstly, straightforward configuration. And again, I'll demo this in a moment, but Aiven makes it very easy to set up set up a new service in a production-ready capacity in a matter of minutes. We apply best practices. We make sure the services are managed and up to date. We make it easy for you to upgrade, to change plans, so scale up and down depending on your needs, and to migrate between clouds and regions, so that you can put these services in the best place for your business. So whether that's closer to your applications or where you've got specific regulatory requirements to store data in particular places. And we're seeing use of that that functionality, particularly with in banking at the moment, where they've got regulatory needs to have a multi-cloud solution. We make the configuration very straightforward. So while we have out of the box defaults that make it very easy to run, if you need to tweak some of the config, it's there and available for you. So if you've got particular needs, we make that very easy for you to manage yourselves. And I mentioned before, we have a set of curated plugins. So we've got over 20 plugins available in every instance, including things such as the observability plugins, allowing you to bring in that telemetry data. KNN, or your K nearest neighbors, lets you search for nearest neighbors in vector space, for those that are familiar with ML algorithms. So these get used for use cases such as recommendations, image recognition, sentiment analysis, and fraud detection. We've got the OpenSearch security plugin available. So this lets you integrate with your centralized access management and features such as anomaly detection. So Aiven itself, in terms of how we manage these environments for you, we provide self-healing clusters, which our management plane is constantly monitoring all the nodes that we're running. And if it detects a failure for any reason, it will automatically create the replacement, sync the data from the remaining cluster nodes, and then remove the failed node from the cluster. So this is something that in a self-managed environment, your operational teams would need to be doing. We automate that process so that the part of the way we offer 4 nines availability for all of our services. We also offer the ability for cluster forking. So basically what this lets you do is take from one of your backups, you can create a fork so that you can, for example, take a copy of production for testing purposes, or if you've had something occur in production that you need to diagnose, so you can, in your own application, you can take a copy of the production instance at a point in time that you want to work from, and spin that up in any cloud or any region, or even use a different service plan. So you might take a copy of prod and then spin up a smaller environment for your dev and testing purposes. And as I mentioned earlier, we make it really simple to, in an automated fashion, migrate between cloud environments. So if you're not running on GCP today, and you know you should be, then we make it very easy for you to take your cluster where it sits and migrate between cloud providers with minimal effort and disruption. And basically the way we do that is we create new nodes in the new cloud. We sync all of the data from the old nodes to the new nodes, and then we shut down the old cluster, leaving you with the new cluster in the new location. We also make all the pricing very easy to understand. So when you run an Aiven tenancy, the pricing includes all the backup and storage costs, all of the networking costs, and gives you a what we do is we bill hourly, but we give you an indicative monthly cost based on a 730-hour month, so that you know each month exactly what you're going to be billed. And there's no surprises. There's no receiving a bill after the fact. And we provide out-of-the-box pre-integrated data pipelines with not just our own services, but also external integrations. So if you also want to feed information into your Google Cloud logging, for example, you're able to do so in a very simple and automated fashion. So, and as I mentioned, that also applies, and I'll demo this in a second, that also applies to Aiven services. So it's very easy to enable integration between whether it's Kafka or Postgres or ClickHouse, and feed that information straight into OpenSearch. So I keep talking about a demo, so let's do it. Excuse me while I just... Come here first. So what I've got in front of us here is the Aiven console. As, everything I'm going to show you through the Aiven console, I should note, can also be done through Terraform scripts, through our command line interface and REST interface as well. So Aiven can very easily be integrated into your CI/CD pipeline. Make it very easy for you to integrate into your existing dev processes. So I've got an OpenSearch service already running, but what I wanted to do firstly was show you just how easy it is to create a new service. So we'll come into creating a service. We'll select OpenSearch, select our cloud provider of choice. Now I do a lot of deployments to US Central ones, so that's already selected for me, but you can select any cloud region. So for example, if you needed to run something in Melbourne, so it was close to your customers or close to or in country for data sovereignty reasons, very easy to do so. So we'll run this in Melbourne. We select the size of the plan that we want to run. So we can run single node clusters. These are most commonly used for dev and test environments. In production, we might run a 3-node high availability set, but we have plans that go all the way up to 30-node availability sets for really high load environments. Those would typically be powering websites getting millions of hits a day. We'll give it a name, and we hit create service. Now, that's all it takes to start a production cluster in Aiven. Now, what this is actually doing is that's going off and building the nodes for the cluster. Once they're built, this service will become available. So while it's doing that, we'll do the classic, here's one I prepared earlier. So when you come in here, you can see we've got a couple of services that I've already integrated with this OpenSearch instance. We can see the plan that I'm running on, and in much the same way that it's easy to create a new service, it's just as easy to change the plan that you're running on. Thanks, Tim. Have a great day. So you can come in. Maybe I need to scale up to more high powers CPUs for the load I'm expecting. Hit change, and that will go off again and create those new nodes, migrate the data across, and then shut the existing nodes down with almost no downtime. So a very short DNS change to make the new services available. Likewise, if I want to bring the cloud closer to home, I can come in, select a new region, and likewise, if this was running on one of the other cloud providers, I could very easily select my Google Cloud that I wanted to bring it to, select the region, hit migrate, and that will automatically create those create the new cluster in the region that I want to run it in, bring all of my data across without me having to do anything else. So it makes those cloud migrations and it makes scaling up, scaling down extraordinarily simple. If I come into the integrations, so as I said, I've got a couple of existing Aiven services running, but to integrate a new Aiven service, I can either do it from that service or I can do it from here in OpenSearch. So if I select to receive logs from a service, I'll come in here, I'll select my my service that I want to receive logs from. I hit continue. I'll give that an index prefix, and I'll show you this in the dashboard in a moment. But this is basically the indexes will that get created in OpenSearch will basically contain this prefix and a date extension, and set the retention limit of the number of days that I want to hold this data. And then I hit enable. And that's all it takes to integrate an Aiven's service with OpenSearch. You can, of course, feed logs in from any other system you're running using Logstash. And if you wanted to store metrics for the service in something else, in Grafana, for example, you can actually go and create metrics integration, or as I said, integration with Google Cloud Logging straight through the console here. But let's at this point jump into OpenSearch. So OpenSearch dashboards gives you an out-of-the-box interface for running search queries and also visualizing your data, as the name dashboards probably suggests. So what we'll do to start is we'll just go into the Discover page. So this is a simple way to see the logs that are coming into the system, or what other indexes you've created. So if I, at the moment, I've got a Postgres cluster feeding data into OpenSearch here, and you can see if I open one of these, log lines, effectively what we've got is we've got the log message along with some other information. But OpenSearch actually lets us dive deeper into these individual log lines and parse them and do some smarts with them so that you can build. You don't have to send logs in a format that OpenSearch understands. It will do some work to translate the logs or to understand the logs for you. So it's got some smarts around that. We can, of course, zoom into particular periods and filter down on particular types of logs. So if I wanted to search for all of the connection received events, I just fill that in and away I go. And you can filter that further. So I could filter that down, for example, based on a particular host name if I was looking for information. This is basically what our SREs do when they're trying to find details about running services within Aiven. Now it is a dashboarding. It is called OpenSearch dashboards. So we can create dashboards as well based on the data that we have. So what I'm going to do here is I've created a new dashboard and I need to create a new visualization. So from our Postgres logs, what I'm going to do here is run that same search, which is connections received, and that's just giving me a data point. So what I need to do is add an x-axis, and what we're going to do is we'll get this data by date. You can using the timestamp field. Now you can specify an interval, but OpenSearch will just handle this automatically for you, and this is handy when you're wanting to zoom in and out of a data range on a dashboard. So if I hit update now, what I've got is the number of connection requests per 10-second period, but I can zoom in and out of those. So if I save that as and then that will go and add to my dashboard. And so I can go and build out quite comprehensive dashboards. And as I said, this can be either based on log data for monitoring your monitoring systems, but it could also be business data. So just by way of example, this is a sample data set where you can create dashboards based on sales revenue and sales by category and that sort of thing, depending on the information that you're capturing. Now, OpenSearch also comes with some tools to make it easy to explore your data. So I just wanted to quickly show you the query workbench. So the queries can either be in a SQL-like format, or if anyone's familiar with Splunk, the pipe processing language will probably be familiar to you. So what we can do here is basically we can build up a query. And so if I say I want to see all of the Postgres logs, it'll give me a simple set of results, but I can, as a pipe processing language, I can then start to build out a query to give me more information. So what I'll do is I'll sort these by timestamp to start with. Oops. And then what we can actually do, and I mentioned earlier that we can do some smarts around the content of the messages themselves. So what we'll do here is, assuming I don't, so what I'm going to do is, if we have a look down here, we've got this field application name. So what I want to do is pull that out into its own field in my results, so that I can do some things with it. So this takes it basically takes a regular expression, which then allows you to pull out this field, assuming I haven't got a typo in there. I might just not have gone down far enough. So this basically allows you to pull out fields. In fact, let's just simplify this statement a bit. So let's only look at the timestamp, the message, and this new field I've created, and only look at it where that's not empty. So what this has done is this has then gone and given me the set of results where that field exists within the message. So this is a really powerful way to build up pull information out of the messages and to process them, but also to use those same queries then for alerts and notifications, so that you can use this sort of pipe processing for identifying events in the logs that you need to be aware of. So there's a lot to OpenSearch. Conscious of time, we won't go into everything that it's capable of today. Certainly, we're more than happy to do more extensive demonstration sessions with anyone who's interested. But we'll jump back to the deck and just wrap up. So just to wrap up, I wanted to talk a little bit about Aiven and GCP. So for those that don't know, in the EMEA region, we're one of Google's breakthrough partners of the year in the breakthrough category. Of course, the information details around that are on our website. We've got a really strong partnership with Google. We run a lot of our most of our own services on Google Cloud. You'll find us in the Google Partner Directory, and you can buy Aiven through GCP Marketplace. And so there's also a case study link available. Obviously, a slide that I'm presenting to you is not the best way to get that to you, so we'll send those around, those links around for you after the session today. And we've got a vast range of customers on GCP. Some of these names will be familiar to our Australian audience. Some of them perhaps less so. One I mentioned on the first slide today was Blizzard. For anyone who games or who have kids that game, that's a name they'll definitely know. But we have companies from both very small startups through to really large enterprise customers. And if that was interesting and you'd like to give it a go yourself, we've got an Aiven trial code set up for you. I'll leave this up for a few minutes, and open to questions. Thanks, Claudia. So Claudia's just posted in the chat the link for the trial code. So that about wraps up the presentation side of things today. Did we have questions from anybody? Thanks, Abdul. Abdul? Is everyone still awake? Mitchell.
Hey, Michael. Thanks for the presentation, by the way. So for most of the people here who don't already know me, my name is Mitchell, and I'm one of the account managers here at Google Cloud. And the reason for my attendance today is that I just wanted to briefly go over what some of our startups are eligible for. So currently, at the moment, Google Cloud is running a cloud startup program where startups can be empowered to tap into training and support, as well as realize credits and network with various peers and industry experts. So currently what we're offering right now is the Google Cloud Startup Program, where if you have received equity from pre-seed to Series A or common Web3 funding sources, as well as being founded within the last 10 years and have received less than $4,000 in Google Cloud credits, you could be eligible for up to $200,000 worth USD credits in over a period of 2 years. And on top of that as well, you get $500 for the Google Cloud Skills Boost, $12,000 USD credits in enhancement support, and access to a startup success account manager who would support you in your cloud journey. On top of that as well, if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to Michael or I, and we can help get you started on that as well. I'll see if I can post a link for this in the chat as well. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks so much, Mitchell. Greatly appreciated. And as you rightly say, if anyone's got any questions or needs some assistance after the session, please reach out. You can contact me directly at michael.coates@aiven.io, and more than happy to help.
Thanks, Michael. That was awesome. I do have 1,000 questions, but I need to run them by my boss who couldn't make it today. We'll probably have a follow-up session with you in the next week or so. I've also lost my voice, got the flu, so it's going around.
I've been, yeah, the last week I've been a bit rough, so my apologies if I've been croaky today.
Fully concur. And Wayne and I will catch up next week. We were going to catch up this week, but no, I don't want to spread this love around. It's not good.
I'm sure that's appreciated by all. Fantastic. Was there anyone else had any questions at all? If you don't want to ask now, feel free to reach out afterwards, and we can organise follow-up sessions as well. It looks like on that note, we'll call this a day. Thanks everyone for joining us. We really appreciate it. This is the first webinar we've run out of Melbourne, and looking forward to many more.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks.
Thank you, Michael.